Hi everyone, my name is Anna. I am with Just One More Stitch by Anna. This is my first YouTube video. My son actually convinced me to start a YouTube channel. So this is my first video and I'm hoping that this is the start of something wonderful. I apologize, I am a little bit nervous, so if I talk too fast, let me know. If I talk too slow, let me know. If this video is too long, let me know. Any feedback, I welcome it because I do want to have more videos, so I do want to know what I can improve, anything you guys want to know, whatever the case may be, please just share it with me. Anyway, so I do want to thank my son, Running Pikachu. He is the one that convinced me, and he's got me all set up here. He's got this big, huge umbrella with a light. Apparently you need that for a YouTube video. I don't know. But I can tell you that the lighting in here is not that great, so that really does help. So go on his channel, comment, subscribe to him. It's Running Pikachu. Anyway, moving forward. So I am going to share with you my yarn stash. It's not as big as most people's are. I try to keep mine small only because it is a little overwhelming for me if I do see I have too much yarn, because I do like to make something out of every skein I have. So that would be, it would be a lot for me. This crocheting to me is very relaxing. I've been crocheting since I was 6. My mom did teach me. She started with the chain stitch. Eventually we went on and learned double crochet, triple crochet, treble, all that stuff. She taught me how to crochet the European way. We are from Portugal. I came here when I was 5. And again, my mom is the one that taught me how to do it, and I've been doing it ever since. And when I was young, I could do a mean chain stitch. My mom, it was so good that every skein that my mom had was transformed into a really long chain stitch. My poor mother had it all over the house, it was crazy. But that's how I learned. And now, eventually I went on to YouTube. I learned a lot more things. So it's grown into something that I really, really enjoy. And it's very, very relaxing for me. If there was a way that I can quit my job and just do this all day, I think I would be the happiest person, and I would just, I would have no reason to complain about anything in life, I think. Although I do love my job, but this is my passion. I do see some amazing work that people do online. I'm not up there yet, even though I've been crocheting for a very long time. I stayed within my comfort zone for years. Now I'm starting to go out of my comfort zone a little bit. Like this is way out of my comfort zone. But anyway, let's move on, and I'm going to show you my yarn stash. So let's start here. That is, I keep my loom. I dabbled a little bit in the looming, and I'm not crazy about it, so I am going to sell that. And these on top, I'm not sure what they're called, but I am going to sell those because it's not something I want to get into. I do have 2 adding machines. I have the little one and the big one. I hope that you could see that. Okay, and then I have my foam heads. Now, I do have 2 female foam heads, and I do have a male. He is in the back because he kind of freaks me out a little bit, so we leave him in the back. And then I have my crochet books over here, crochet, and I believe there's some knitting books in there as well. I do have quite a few more, but they are at my mom's house. They're in her basement. This is my yarn stash. Okay, I'm gonna step back a little bit so you can see everything. Now that right there, those 2 bags right there, those are yarns that I do have to make into cake balls, just like these. So I keep them separate so then I know what I have to do. Let's see what else. Down there, those are just some extra tins and zipper pouches just in case I need them. That right there, that is some works that I have to frog and wind into cake balls as well. These t-shirts are for my t-shirt scarves. I do keep right here, I keep some cotton yarn, and that one right there, I'm not sure what that's called, but I think that's to make like scouring pads. I'm not sure, but I just thought it was interesting, and I started making a few, and I actually like it. It's pretty cool. These are my sachet yarns. Now here I do have a bag of white. The white ones I do not sell. I make those for friends and family and acquaintances, or anyone that that has suffered some sort of a tragic loss or whatever. I just make it as a hey, you know what? I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you and your family. If there's anything you need, I'm here. Sort of a scarf, and I give those because it's something that I just want them, whoever it is, to know that, hey, there are people that are thinking about you and praying for you and your family. And I really enjoy giving them to people. And you know, anything I do make, I do say a prayer for whoever's getting them. So that to me just makes it a whole lot, I'm not sure the word, but it just, it makes me feel good to let people know that, hey, people are thinking about you. So anyway, moving on. Here is the rest of my yarn stash. They're not in any particular order because I just have too many different types of yarn. So unfortunately, they're right now, until I figure out a system, because this is all new. I just actually put this up maybe 2 weeks ago. So until I figure it out and find the niche, it's going to have to stay like this. Now this cubby right here, these are my crochet hooks and anything having to do with crochet or knitting, whatever the case may be. This right here is where I keep my buttons. And this right here, I think this, you can call me a little bit of a hoarder. Little bit of a hoarder. So these are the pieces of different types of yarns when I made scarves and things like that. I don't want to throw it out. I know it's bad, but I figure I can either stuff a pillow with them, or, you know, I just can't see myself throwing that out. I don't know why. It's just, yarn to me is just, I can't picture it as garbage. So I kind of keep those and I wait till I have enough to fill a pillow. And those right there, that's when I'm crocheting, I just leave the ball of yarn in there, and it's just like a yarn bowl, but I guess it's in a big container. Okay, so this is my yarn stash. Okay, now this right here is not my yarn stash, but I'm going to show you. Now this little cart right here, for when I go, I like doing I like doing vendor fairs. So when I do go, I keep everything in here so it's easier and I could just roll it out and right into the vendor fair. I have my table, my chairs, things like that. Okay, so let me move it out of the way a little bit. Okay, so the bottom there, that last shelf, that has some of my sewing supplies. Got like fabrics and things like that. Right here, that's for my children's crayons, their markers, coloring books, although my 13-year-old doesn't really use that. My 4-year-old uses that more. That right there are two knitting machines, excuse me, that I'm giving to my mom once she retires. She's going to retire, she's saying next year, we'll see. But when she does, she wants to get back into the knitting and crocheting, so I'm going to give her those. That right there, the blue bag, that is cross-stitching. I was into cross-stitching, and again, that was one of my many crafts that I have started that I decided I may not like as much as I do crocheting. So this right here is my bag where I take when we go out, I take my children's stuff in there, you know, whatever, change of clothes, things like that. The little one, when I go to my brother's or my parents, that's the one I take when I go with my kids. This right here is a blanket. It's an ugly blanket. And what happens is when I used to make scarves out of that yarn, I used to just add the leftover to that blanket. So it's a huge blanket. So since I haven't used that yarn as much anymore, it's kind of stopped. So that's where that is. There is my sewing machine, and I don't know what these are called. If they're called sewing baskets, sewing bag, I'm not sure, but that's where I keep my sewing supplies in as well. That's my laptop. Unfortunately, I can't keep my laptop out only because I do have a 4-year-old that gets into everything, so I won't have a laptop after he touches it. So these are paintings that I made when I went. I love doing the sip and paints, even though I don't even drink, but I do like to do the sip and paint, so I did a few. And this long box right here, that is a knitting machine that my husband bought for me years ago, and I love it. The only thing is, because it's so big, it's not something where you can set up and then take apart when you're done. It's something that you set up and you leave it set up. Because it is so big, I don't have that much room. This is my table right here. And this is where I do, that's where I print my patterns. That's my mini, that's my mini yarn haul. My husband's friend asked me to make him a Harley Davidson blanket. So I'm going to make double crochet Harley Davidson blanket. I'm going to keep it simple only because I just finished doing one blanket. I'm in the process of doing and finishing another one, and this is my third. And then after this one, I think I'm going to take a break from making blankets because it's a little bit time consuming and I can't do anything else. That's my printer, and these are my business cards, which I'm super excited about. Let me turn it over. Oh. See? Love them. And that's my son. Now my son does power cord. We're in the process of still cleaning the room. So this is my son's area, and he is, since he's been doing YouTube videos, he kind of let the power cord bracelets go for a little bit, but he's going to get back into it. Okay, so that's my yarn haul. I'm sorry, my yarn stash and mini yarn haul, I guess you could say. Oh, and there's also got stitch markers. Love these. So that was my yarn stash and a mini tour of my crochet room. So I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and your lives just to watch my video. And please comment and subscribe, and please give me some feedback whether you like the video, if there's something I should change about the video, or what I should keep out, or if there's something you want me to elaborate or explain, or whatever the case may be. Please just comment and I'll do my best to answer and respond. So thank you so much, and I hope that you'll continue to watch. And thank you so much to Running Pikachu. That is my son. He is also on YouTube, and he is the one that actually set me up with all this. And so I just want to thank you. And you guys, if you guys want to go on his page as well, like, subscribe, comment on his videos, he would really appreciate that as well. And again, just remember, if it's made by hand, it's made from the heart. Thank you. Bye-bye.